My name is Sophie. I divorced my husband 10 years ago, and now it's just my daughter Lily and me. Lily is a senior in high school. She's set to graduate this year and has already been accepted to college. Lily assured me, I'll definitely get a scholarship, so don't worry about money. Indeed, attending college on my salary alone would be tough. From the start, Lily was determined to get into college with it. She led a perfect high school life, ranking first in her class, serving as the student body president, and even competing in national competitions in her club activities. It came on the back of these achievements. Of course, she got a full tuition waiver. It was a scholarship that doesn't need to be repaid. It's an excellent opportunity for Lily. It will likely fast-track her dream of becoming a lawyer. This is truly a blessing for me. Lily and I have had our struggles, especially since the divorce when she was in elementary school. I've always thought I wasn't the best mom, but I've been comforted by Lily's kindness. Had I not chosen such a man to be my husband, perhaps we wouldn't have had to endure so much. It all began 20 years ago. I married a man named David. David's family home was a grand mansion in the countryside. I was overwhelmed by the grand gates when I was greeted by my father-in-law, Henry. Henry seemed like a stern, traditional man fitting for such a house. I later found out he had intentionally put on a stern demeanor to maintain dignity. I'll never forget how he later apologized with a kind smile, saying, "I'm sorry for scaring you back then." However, the problem was my mother-in-law, Olivia. David had warned me, my mom really adores me. She might think you're stealing me away from her and dislike you for it. Indeed, Olivia was overly fond of David. When we first met and I introduced myself, Olivia's first words were, "Sophie, isn't your makeup a bit too heavy? And the length of your skirt? Such things are for people with slimmer legs." I was wearing a knee-length dress that day, which I thought was a bit bold. My makeup was a little heavier than usual. I had also done my nails. It was only natural to make an effort for my first meeting with my husband's parents. But it seems Olivia didn't take it well. Although Henry defended me, David nodded along with Olivia's words. David said Olivia adored him, but I began to wonder if he too couldn't distance himself from her. From that moment, I had my suspicions. We didn't stay long that day, but Olivia's attitude was disheartening. She repeatedly said, "What was David thinking, choosing such an ordinary woman to marry? And if you're bringing a gift, at least bring something nicer. Not something you can find anywhere." I was criticized several times like this. For the record, the gift was a popular confection from my hometown. The soufflé, with its cloud-like, fluffy texture, was irresistible to women. Despite bringing such a top-notch dessert, for her to disparage it as something you can find anywhere was shocking. Could it be that, despite its deliciousness, she deliberately made such remarks just to belittle me? Regardless, I felt I couldn't get along with Olivia. But David lightly said, "It'll be fine, we hardly ever have to see each other after we're married." True, unless we lived together, we wouldn't see each other daily. His words somewhat reassured me. That carefree attitude, however, turned my life upside down. David and I started dating 3 years ago. We decided to get married. He proposed on the day of the local famous summer festival. As the fireworks reached their grand finale, David knelt and took out a ring. "Please marry me. I will protect you from any hardship," he proposed. He proposed with those words. I accepted the ring, saying, "Yes. I'd be delighted." Months later, we had our wedding. I was worried that Olivia would approve of the marriage, but with Henry's persuasion, she somehow consented. "Just so you know, if you make David unhappy, I will never forgive you. Be prepared for a divorce if anything happens," she warned me. Despite her words, at that moment, I was too happy about marrying David to take Olivia seriously. Our married life was far from ideal. "I will protect you from any hardship." If he truly meant that, our marriage wouldn't have ended up like this, nor would we have gotten divorced. Initially, David told me, "Once we're married, I want you to quit your job and devote yourself to our home. We'll probably have kids soon, and I want you to raise them properly as a full-time homemaker." But once I quit, he changed his tune. "Being a homemaker is just like being unemployed. You laze around all day. Really, not working even though we don't have kids, what a luxury," he would say sarcastically. Of course, I wasn't just lazing around. I woke up at 5 a.m. to prepare breakfast as per David's request. Frustrated at being treated like a NEET, I mentioned wanting to start a part-time job, but David reacted aggressively again. Are you planning to find a lover at your part-time job? Confused, I wondered what I was supposed to do. Eventually, I discovered I was pregnant and gave birth to our daughter without returning to work. David was overjoyed, but Olivia reacted differently. I'll never forget Olivia's words when she first visited the hospital room after my daughter was born. A girl? What about the heir for our family? Useless. David's brother will just have to have a son who can be the heir, she concluded. At that moment, I felt oddly calm. I was fine with cutting ties if it came to that. I never planned to make my child an heir, and it didn't matter to me who the heir was. If David's nephew wanted to take on that role, I was all for it. However, things didn't go as smoothly as I had hoped. About half a year after my daughter was born, a scandal erupted. Incredibly, Olivia was caught having an affair, and Henry was furious, declaring, "I'm getting a divorce." When I first heard that story, I thought it must be some kind of mistake. Because Olivia and Henry were known as a model couple in the neighborhood, so close in their relationship. It was hard to believe that such a couple could ever divorce. Since their home was a 2-hour drive away, I didn't have many chances to visit and didn't know the details. But it turned out that Olivia's affair was real, and Henry ultimately decided on divorce. Sophie. One day, Olivia came to our house, tears streaming down her face. I was bewildered by the sight of her, more haggard than I had ever seen her before. However, her request to move in with us was both shocking and a massive inconvenience. My daughter was still young, and our house was far from spacious. Considering we were discussing having a second child, Olivia's presence would complicate matters even further. Yet, my husband allowed her to move in. My husband, doted upon by her, always sided with Olivia over Henry. He always believed Olivia was right. I pleaded with David, living together would be difficult. But faced with, "If you don't like it, we can get a divorce," I reluctantly had to accept. Thus began our cohabitation with Olivia. But far from helping with Lily, Olivia would make demands even when I was busy taking care of her. Not just that. She left all the household chores to me and complained about the menu. Far from easing my burden, it only grew. Despite the agreement being until she found somewhere to live, Olivia showed no signs of looking. Still, not wanting a divorce, I endured. I didn't want to experience the sorrow of being a single mother. As the days passed, I grew numb to Olivia's words, able to ignore them. "There's dust left here." Sure. "My dinner isn't ready yet." Sure. Responding nonchalantly would enrage Olivia, but I brushed it off with a sure. Years passed without Olivia moving out, and Lily advanced to elementary school. Displeased with Lily's demure nature compared to her peers, Olivia began to berate her, "I hate boring and quiet girls like you. Just like your mother. If you don't want to be hated by me, try to be more cheerful." I've reached my limit. I seriously began to consider divorce. David, burdened with important tasks at work, had been almost absent from home for months and said nothing to Olivia. Not that he would have taken my side over Olivia's anyway. Then, when Lily was 8, the moment came. David's affair was exposed. The other woman was his female boss. Unable to bear it any longer, I decided to divorce immediately. Thinking about life after divorce, I resolved to find a job. I reached out to former bosses and colleagues I had before getting married. Fortunately, a colleague who had started his own business said, "I can hire you as an office worker." Relieved, I believed I could manage life with Lily. The day I secured the job, I confronted David with the divorce papers. David, furious, and Olivia together berated me. "Do you think you, a NEET, can survive a divorce? You won't even be able to send your daughter to school. It's because the wife isn't reliable that the husband strays, right? It's all your fault." I wanted to retort to their unreasonable accusations, but I was at a loss for words. Feeling pathetic as they continued their tirade, Lily woke up. "Mom. What's happening?" She rushed over to me, looking up with concern. "That's right. From now on, I need to protect this child. I shouldn't let myself be demeaned." With that thought, I found strength. I won't be manipulated by you two any longer. I'm getting a divorce. With that, I packed our things and Lily into the car and left the house. Afterwards, I hired a lawyer, sought child support, and the divorce was finalized. However, the relief was short-lived as the only time David paid the child support was just the first time. Despite my attempts to get him to pay, it was always, "Please wait until next month, I'll definitely pay." My weakness is taking people at their word and waiting. Upon investigation, I found that 3/4 of single mothers don't receive child support, a significant social issue. How ignorant I was not to be aware of societal issues until I found myself in such a situation. Between work and Lily's schooling, life was a constant struggle. Lily was mocked by her classmates for coming from a single-parent home, and I faced gossip from other mothers. A decade passed like this. At the summer festival, when Lily was in her senior year of high school, I unexpectedly ran into David and Olivia. I was at a loss for words at the sudden encounter, but they seemed unfazed. Wondering how they found me, I managed to keep my composure and asked, "What do you want?" Then, with a serious expression, David said, "I only have 6 months to live. I don't have much time left. That's why I want to see my daughter one last time. Please, let me see her." I was shocked and unsure how to react. But, true to my nature, I thought, maybe it's okay to let them meet just once. However, I wasn't sure how Lily would feel. I told them, "I'll ask my daughter," and called Lily. To my surprise, Lily agreed easily, saying, "Okay, I'll come now." When I told them, "All right, I'll let her meet you," their faces lit up with joy. I told David, "Wait at that place." I thought he would understand what I meant by that. It was where David had proposed to me. Nodding, David took Olivia and turned away. Seizing the opportunity, I decided to make a call. A feeling of "something's not right" flashed through my mind. An hour later, Lily and I met up and then headed to that place. As the fireworks began, memories of the day David proposed flooded back. We faced them again. But their expressions had changed drastically. "Thought we could easily fool you. How could someone as healthy as me have only 6 months to live, right, Mom?" "Exactly. You're as gullible as ever. That's why single mothers are hopeless." They began laughing. But I remained calm. I never took David's 6 months to live claim seriously. Unfazed by my composure, David and Olivia began explaining why they summoned me and my daughter. Apparently, David's nephew, who was supposed to inherit the family, had rejected the role. Now, they were scheming to groom my daughter as the heir. Being the heir guarantees a secure future. No need to worry about finding a job. We'll even arrange a suitable marriage partner for you. Someone ordinary like you wouldn't find a decent match anyway," Olivia said condescendingly. David added, "And Mom is getting old. In a few years, she'll need care. Having a daughter around would save us those expenses, don't you think?" I raised my voice in disbelief at their ridiculous proposal. "What? You want Lily to take care of your mother? I won't let her, whom I've raised with so much care, do such a thing. Don't you dare involve her in your lives again." Hearing this, they seemed to give up on persuading us and tried to take Lily by force. But just then, a shout louder than the fireworks exploded nearby. David and Olivia were startled and turned around, only to find Henry there. "What? How did you?" Olivia was visibly flustered. Indeed, the person I had called earlier was Henry. "Your granddaughter is in trouble. Please help," I had said to him. With just that, Henry grasped the situation. "I'm on my way." "Where are you?" After I gave him the details, Henry arrived swiftly. At that moment, we heard someone cry out, "Ouch!" David was on the ground, clutching his arm. It seemed Lily had bitten him to escape. After a moment, Henry furiously scolded David and Olivia. "David, you're dead to me." Henry's anger didn't subside easily. Later, Henry apologized, saying, "I'm sorry for the trouble my family has caused you." Lily thanked him with a warm smile, "I'm glad you helped us. Let's keep in touch." Half a year passed, and Lily graduated from high school safely. She'll be leaving for college in the spring, marking our first separation. It's going to be hard. Expressing my worries, Henry suggested, "There's a vacant house near mine. Why don't you and Lily live there? It's close to her college." Lily happily agreed when I discussed it with her. It seems she's become quite fond of her grandfather since that day. We moved in time for Lily's college start. Though Henry is over 60, he sometimes takes us on day trips by car. Lily happily shares her college experiences, and it's clear Henry enjoys the increased time with his granddaughter. What happened to David and Olivia after that, neither Henry nor I know, nor do we want to. I'm determined to protect my daughter and our happiness from any hardship.